So point of view, you should always build your industrial site in WordPress. Of course, there's always exceptions to these rules. So before we start, let's cover those exceptions. Number one is you've got a really great developer on site. You trust him. That's someone that's been with your team for a while. And you want to go ahead and hard code it via HTML, CSS. You can see this old frame site that we built back in the day. I grabbed it off of Wayback Machine. Everything doesn't render quite well, but it was all done in HTML, CSS. So it's a style that you can spin up quickly. You can be able to have a single developer monitor that code base. So that might be an option for you. Number two would be the custom web application. So that typically is for a single purpose. It's not going to be super marketing centric most of the time. So you'll usually want to put that on a subdomain. That's usually not going to run your entire site. As an example, we've put equipment selection tools and field service applications on subdomains in the past, and that's something that you'll see pretty typical. A specialty e-commerce store, whether that's Shopify, usually that's likely the best choice for a single e-commerce store. Magento, you've got a multitude of sites that require one central control. Whatever that looks like, those two are usually kind of competing in that space. Maybe you even want to use WooCommerce. In that case, we're back to WordPress, and that would be a check in the WordPress bucket. The last reason that you might not want to do this is you may have someone that really loves their content management system. To be frank, WordPress kind of backed into being a overall content management system, whereas some of these other ones were more intentional from the ground up. Technically, they may be better. Overall, we don't think they're better, but always happy to listen to arguments of why I could be wrong. But yeah, if you don't fit the criteria above, you're likely considering something between a page builder or maybe WordPress. So let me tell you why you don't want to use a page builder. WordPress is 100% better than any of these page builders on site because these page builders have a reduced amount of functionality baked into them from the very beginning. You're getting a page builder site. It might be an all-in-one hosting type application. It's not what I would consider enterprise. It's kind of like going to Harbor Freight and buying tools and then saying that, hey, this is going to last for the next 15 years. It's not. WordPress, yeah, sure. That's an enterprise grade platform. These page builders just aren't built for that kind of durability and flexibility. So the good news for those who love the page builder setup is you've got a lot of drag and drop builders. The one that we use the most is Elementor, and there's other offerings from WordPress that provide the same functionality while still allowing for the ease of use that these page builders do. A good reason to use WordPress is it diffuses the responsibility across the entire team. It's got an easy interface. Whoever's the site owner or the admin can assign admin, editor, contributor roles to everyone across the company. So if you're an industrial company that employs dozens, perhaps even hundreds of employees, you can delegate the work of feeding content into your site, of making changes to the site, of maintaining the site right out of the box with WordPress. It's a great way to make sure that load is not completely on one or two people. The plugin functionality is so rich. Think of how applications are to phones. You can't imagine getting something outside the Android or Apple ecosystem for a phone because that plugin or that those apps are so baked into the ecosystem. The same deal goes with WordPress. The plugins can extend that core functionality long and far past what many people even know is possible. So that can be SEO work, that can be picture optimization, it can be forms, it can be a lot more robust than that even. Flexibility is another reason that you would want to use WordPress. If you tether yourself to a lesser known CMS or a strange kind of programming language or setup, you're kind of locked into that vendor. Maybe that vendor is not very good. Maybe you want to terminate your vendor. And if that's the case, if you're using WordPress, you should feel a lot more comfortable about that process. There are hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands likely of WordPress practitioners in the marketplace. So you don't feel like you're completely locked in with that vendor. Anyone else can kind of come up behind and dig into that code stack and advise on how to move forward. So that's our take on why you want to always use WordPress. If you have any questions, drop me a line, travis@momentatech.com, and I'm happy to help. Thanks.